What's going on, everybody? It's UCX Jay-Z the Don on the Hardest Thing podcast channel. I know it's been a super long time, and I asked Dom a long time ago if he wanted to do an interview. So that was my fault. You know, life happens. But I definitely wanted to catch you. This was very important before the NBA season started. So this is a very special moment. And I already said your name, but go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah. First of all, appreciate you having me back. Obviously, Dom2K. You can find me on Twitter, on YouTube. Type that in anywhere. You'll find me. Stream, make NBA videos and such. And yeah, it's funny. I was actually just about to hit you up and be like, yeah, when are we doing it? Because it was a minute ago, and I always look forward to hopping on these with you. So appreciate you hitting me up in a timely manner too. Preseason just ended, and we'll have the season going in a couple of days from now, and it'll get extremely busy.
Absolutely. Yeah,
glad to be on.
Sure. Thank you. One thing that I ended up finding out about you was that, you know, you actually follow GI. And I remember when I, you know, got the opportunity to be on the NBA show that you did on Twitch, and you were like, oh, like I didn't even know that this was you. I was like, yeah, let me go and hit him up just to, you know, let him know that, like, hey, I'm gonna be the guest on the show. But yeah, it was another one of those moments, and we tend to find these moments pretty often. And when it comes, it's still a surprise to me that, you know, people who are frequent, or, you know, the small circles that we end up in, it's like, hey, you know, y'all do know about us. You know, I don't expect all the time for, you know, people to be like, hey, like I watch this person, or, you know, quote unquote, give us our flowers. But it is super nice though to notice like the bigger content creators, you know, mess with, you know, little me, or, you know, GI as a whole. You know, TBH is obviously the bigger one, but you know, just the fact that you knew about me is what I was like, okay, that's dope.
Consistency pays. Like you said, obviously I had found Hokage way back when I was still a high schooler back then, and obviously I've gotten to work with him since then as well, so that was really cool too. But yeah, I've been rocking with y'all for a very long time now, starting with him over a decade ago pretty much. And so just, you know, getting to work with different people and getting to work with y'all is definitely, that was probably one of the cooler things, is when I got to get some work with y'all. I'm like, damn, I literally grew up listening to and watching their videos and whatnot. So
yeah, we hear that a lot too, and of course it ages us out every single time. It's like, man, I was in high school watching. I'm like, damn, bro, like, and I'm not even the oldest one in the crew either. But you know, I'm in my 30s, so it's still funny that that, you know, people say that. But let's get into it, because I got a lot that I want to ask you, you know, about your life and your content creation journey. So let's start at the beginning. When Don was a wee old lad, what got you into basketball? What got you into the NBA? Was it something that, like, your people's, you know, watched and got you into it? Talk about that. You know, how did that end up happening? Your love for basketball.
Yeah, it's funny because my dad was actually a Jordan fan back in the 90s, but it really wasn't him that got me into it. I would say around, and this season technically does make it the 20-year mark for when I got into it, probably around 2003 when I was in the third grade. What officially brought me into it was seeing there was this kid in my class who wore all the merch. His parents had crazy bread, because you know how expensive jerseys are. So he always had like Tim Duncan, he had LeBron, he had these crazy T-Mac shoes. This is back when T-Mac was in Orlando. And so the NBA's marketing plan worked, because that's really what it was at first. It was the gear that got me into it. So from, you know, seeing him wear that stuff, I got interested in the actual games. Back then it was NBA Live. It wasn't 2K at the time. And I ended up playing on like the junior Orlando Magic team at that point, and just slowly kind of got into it from there. I was a kid, so I was still more interested in cartoons and Cartoon Network and whatever they were showing. But as time passed, and I got that really is the pattern. It's the gear, the video games, and then because of the video games, I knew who the players were. And so by 2008, when the Celtics had gotten together, I knew who all of those stars were. I knew who the big three was. I seen that and I said, damn, that's crazy. In a way, 3 players, 390 plus overalls just got together. And so I really started following it then. But before that, I would watch it a little bit with my dad, though. He became a LeBron fan as well. So I watched a little bit of LeBron early days in Cleveland, and just kind of went from there. So yeah, just the marketing got me. I don't know if it works like that these days, but that's how
Interesting.
it pulled me in 20 years ago now. Yeah.
I don't know. That's actually a good question. Does marketing still work like with the newer generation, Gen Z, and going into
Mhm.
the generation after that? Like would you just seeing something, not even on TV, but just seeing somebody walking around with a jersey of like, hey, like that gets me a little bit intrigued. So I would love to know. So say something in the comments of like if you're a part of that Gen Z generation or after that, like I don't know if you should be on YouTube if you're after that, but but if you're a Gen Z, like how did you get into basketball if you are into it, or any sport, to be honest, because that can transcend any sport, not just basketball. So what got you into YouTube after that? So you got a love for basketball. You played the video games. What got you into making content? Mostly centered around basketball.
Yeah, so that was also basketball related, obviously, with what I'm doing now. Back in 2K8 is when I really started playing 2K, and me and my friend kind of just grew up through middle school and high school playing all the time. And by the time I was about to graduate, our games were just always so good. We would play online every damn day back when 2K13 was a thing. And it's funny because it wasn't a creator. It wasn't, even though I watched Chris move, it wasn't necessarily, oh, I want to be Chris move now or whatever. I literally just thought our games were really entertaining and really good. And I said, damn, this is back when 2K was starting to become popular to post on the internet. I said, I think we should post our games online. We're going into overtime all the time. I think we should find a way to record these and post these. I think it would be pretty cool. That's all I wanted to do at that time. Obviously, I didn't have a clue where to even start. I didn't know what a HDP VR was or how to actually do that or what it would cost. But that was really close to the PlayStation 4 release date. And when the PS4 dropped, it came with the recorder built into it, so you could actually record and share gameplay. And so when 2K14 dropped, I had a super ghetto process of having to record the clip off of 2K14 and share it to some burner Facebook page and download the clips off of Facebook and kind of start making videos that way. Obviously, I've been playing 2K, so I just started making some 2K videos on this channel. And then just kind of went from there. A couple of years later, I started making the NBA videos on what's now my main channel, which is the one called Dom 2K. And yeah, it just went from that. I just wanted to post 2K at first, me and my friends' games, and it built off of that. That's kind of how it started.
That's very interesting that like once the PS4 came out and the Xbox One, I've heard of a lot of creators that were like, look, I don't have the equipment, I don't have the crazy hardware to do content, but I have these clips and I can literally use these clips to, and I feel like the 2K community and the Call of Duty community were like the main two communities that took advantage of that. And that was a lot of people start. Like if you started like 2013, 2014 using those. So that's very interesting because, I was in your similar situation. No, not exactly knowing what to use or not having the hardware at the time. So once I found out what a hub hog was, I actually got one of those. But I had me just a dingy laptop that took like 2 hours to do like 5-minute video. Like it was crazy, but I still made it happen. And then eventually I ended up getting to be, a gaming PC and made things so much easier. But that's super interesting. That, like you also started off making your content that way. Because before then it was just literally pointing your phone or pointing a camera at the screen and do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Ghetto as hell, man.
No, it's funny because I still find some of my really, really old stuff because I kind of skipped this step. I actually started a Instagram page for 2K before I started YouTube. So, and when that was around the same summer, I believe 2013 summer is when Instagram introduced being able to actually put videos on your page.
Yeah.
And so if you go way, way back on this 2K page that I had, you see me basically just recording off my phone on the screen from the TV screen and stitching it together that way. So yeah, and like you, I started with a crazy dingy laptop. I was making it on a Windows Movie Maker at that time and a gaming headset, much like the ones we're wearing now. So it sounded crazy, but yeah, I just started with what was there, and the PS4 was a big help with that because it just came all in one: the game, the recorder, and I just figured it out from there. So
true.
Yeah, a lot of people probably started that way.
Boy, those cringe moments. I don't ever want to go back to it.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to go back to this. It's crazy. All right. So you were doing 2K videos with your boy. When did it become a point where you were like, aha, like I hit a video that went viral. I think I can do this full time. When was that moment for you?
Oh yeah, that was blatantly in 2016 actually, because I was in college when all this was going on. So the very last year of high school was when I wanted to start. And then I started college and the PS4 came out really in that fall. It coincided. I went for about 2 years making the 2K videos on that channel. And I kind of stopped because, again, I was juggling all this with college life and college work and whatnot. So I think when 2016 hit, that January, I just stopped making videos totally. And I came back in July on a different channel because I wanted to restart. I figured the channel I had been working on was probably dead. I said, let me just get a fresh start. I have to look exactly, but I started that channel in July of 2016. And I think it was 4 or 5 videos in that LeBron video I made about him defending his legacy. That was the one. That one grew like a week in, I believe, of being posted. And so I kept checking back on it. And I saw it was gaining views and it was gaining views. And before I knew it, it was one of those that was going up to 100K, 200K and whatnot. I think it's at about 4 million now. But that was the one. And it got shared on Facebook, actually, of all places. There was these LeBron James Facebook pages that shared it and actually linked it and gave credit. That was a blessing. And from that actually worked. People just kept subbing. And I saw that. I'd been waiting for that for a while anyways. I was waiting for a kickstart like that for a while for at that point about 2 years or whatever that was. So once that happened, I said, "Oh, bet." I just started going from there, and that I literally have been growing on that channel since then. About to hit 400K now because I've taken detours and went other directions. But yeah, since that day, it has literally grown since that video.
Wow. Yeah, I think we're all like waiting on that one to do it. Like, you know what? Like, all right, I think I can actually do this. I think it's there. So that's what's up. Facebook actually as well. A lot of people talk about Twitter and IG and now TikTok, but Facebook still is low key a very, very like powerful social media platform. Unfortunately, I got off. Like I would like the only time that people see me on Facebook is when I like share something on IG, and it's also share on Facebook button. But I've heard of a good amount of people that like Facebook is a really huge community for them. So that's what's up. That people found that on Facebook, and through Facebook is how you ended up catching one with that viral moment and going from there.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah. I don't know how to actually use Facebook for its potential these days. But like you were just saying, the platform and the community is there. And sometimes I still use my old 2K Instagram page. And I do know, obviously, Instagram and Facebook work together now. Mm-hmm. So the reels that you post on Instagram can end up on Facebook as well. And I can always tell the ones that do, because the reels that I post on Instagram, sometimes a couple will just take off. And I'm just like, yeah, that one definitely is some type of integration with Facebook. So I don't have like an actual dedicated Facebook page I use anymore. It's still got motion though. It for sure still has motion.
That's what's up. So going back to what you were saying, how you ended up, getting love for the Celtics. So was it the big three that got you started, or so that was literally the origin, and then you just went from there? Like I'm locked in. I'm diehard Celtic. The big three was it for you?
Yeah, for the Celtics, it was because, again, before then, I'm in Orlando, so it was T-Mac. And T-Mac got traded a year or a year and a half after I got into basketball. And so once he got traded from the Magic, I still played the games and whatnot. I just wasn't really too into it, though. I said, whatever, my team, we had Steve Francis and Kelvin Cato down here. I wasn't really rocking with it. But yeah, once the Celtics Big Three got together, I actually made a bet against my dad is what it was, because he was saying that the Spurs were going to win in 2008. I said, nah, the Celtics team, they got it. They put 3 all-stars together. They definitely got it, because that was still a new concept back then. Actually, Big Threes being traded together and whatnot, that was a new concept at that time. Mm-hmm. So, and then, yeah, they won in 08, which I can almost barely remember now, but I did experience it. And after that, I wanted them to repeat, obviously, in 09, so I stayed. And then 2010, they almost did win again. And so just that whole Big Three era, trying to get them to get one more title. Once they moved on, I still stayed a fan through a very short rebuilding process. And I've been fortunate. I've been spoiled because the Celtics have only had a couple of down years since then, really, where they were just total trash since the Big Three era. I haven't really experienced full-on trash for an extended amount of time like some franchises. So it's like I have been fortunate. But yeah, that was it, though. It was the Big Three and on.
Yeah, like the franchise that you just named, the Orlando Magic.
Literally.
I moved here and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a supporter of the Magic, but I didn't want to fully lock in. And I think I told this origin story when we were on the Twitch show, but I've never really locked into any teams. I never latched onto any teams after Jordan. Like Jordan was it in the beginning for me. And then I was just like, after Jordan era, I was like, I just like certain teams that have certain players that I like. So the Sixers with AI, the Kings with Bibby and Stojakovic and yeah, all those guys. So I love them then, but they all ended up getting destroyed by either the Spurs or the Lakers back then. So I was like, man, forget this. I was like, I'm not doing nothing. Like, I'm just going to watch basketball and then just make fun of everybody else who like teams. So I did that for a very, very long time. And I was like, all right, so I'm in Orlando now. I'm seeing all these games. So I'm going to just watch the Magic and see what they do. And still, first round playoffs, get knocked out by the Raptors. And next year you get knocked out by the Bucks. I'm like, bro, y'all are trash. And then y'all disbanded everybody. So I'm like, you know what? Forget this. I'm done. I wanted to be a Miami Heat fan and we just go from there. And then low-key, we became rivals because then you started doing some other stuff, which leads to my next question. How did the Dom curse come about? What is up with this? What is the origin of the Dom curse? Because as I was following you, everybody kept talking about this. And I'm like, bro, it has to be some crazy origin story. So please explain what happened. Why is this a thing?
The funny thing is, it's not even one moment. And it's such a scattered thing. Like the origin is such a scattered thing. I don't even remember when it actually officially took off. The earliest that I can remember, because it's an NBA Twitter thing, and the earliest I can really remember is 2019, probably during the Raptors and Sixers series. It's because I tweet during games a lot. And so it would be a situation where I would tweet something and the opposite would happen. That was literally it. And that just happened so much that people started saying, damn, whatever he says is basically a jinx. And it took off. That's where I remember it. It could have been before that. If people go search on Twitter, maybe they'll find evidence of that happening before. My earliest memory is Kawhi Leonard Raptors, though. And it kind of took off from there. And so now if I support anyone's team or say anything good, it doesn't have to be me predicting, right? I don't have to predict this player is going to average a certain amount of points, nothing like that. I just say something good about a team and people are afraid that their player is going to get hurt now or instantly or something. Some bad luck is going to come. And last season, there was a couple of examples that even scared me. I've now forgotten them, but there's definitely, I think I tweeted about Nas Reed. It had something to do with the Wolves. I tweeted Nas Reed and one other player. I just tweeted their names. That was it, because I was watching highlights of them. And I think within a week or two, both of them had injuries. It was not the intention. I was just watching their highlights. That one made me go, damn, that is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's pretty much stuff adjacent to that. People will see me tweet about a team or a player and they run for their lives now. That's a Dom curse, and it's been going on for years.
So do you believe it is?
Like I said, the only one I believed was after Nas Reed, and maybe it was Jaden McDaniels. I could be wrong. That was the only one that's ever scared me, though, because I said, damn, those are two kind of random players to be watching YouTube highlights of. And I just tweeted their names just obscurely and they were both gone. I said, damn. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, no, that is wild. So they're just going to keep the narrative going. I know how the internet is. So as soon as they latch on to something, it's going to keep going. So now I heard people saying, is the Dom curse stronger than the Drake curse or a Lil B and Bass guy? Like, that's what they compare it to. And I don't know, man. Drake curse is pretty strong. I don't think the Dom curse is up there yet. Base God is all the way up here. He calmed down. He stopped, cursing people. But Drake is like up here. So I don't think you're there yet.
Yeah. I don't think I'm there yet. It's crazy, though. I believe the Dom curse is actually a thing in the Urban Dictionary now, which is really, really wild. If you Google Dom curse, they have a definition for it that says there's no proof that it's real. There is actual things that people Google about it.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So I actually did some research and shout out to Bezos because I watched you on his channel or his Twitch channel during the interview. I didn't really catch anything else, but I like to do my research on what my content creators who I look up to do. But you said on there that you started doing Twitch. So you started streaming after a little bit, and some more opportunities came, mainly with the NBA. So tell the people, how did you, going from content creation mainly on YouTube to streaming, get you on notice with the NBA and start doing work with them?
Yeah, I'll obviously never exactly know what their process is, but a lot of the opportunities that I've had with the NBA was live streaming opportunities. Obviously, the show that I had you on, and then the thing that I did with Channing Frye, or whenever they have some type of loose leaf stream, sometimes they'll call me up. And that was obviously linked to me being a Twitch content creator, mostly with the NBA and 2K. So even now this season, I'm going to start back up doing some more NBA content on Twitch and reviewing what happened the night before and such. I also have done a lot of commentary, obviously playing 2K, because even now I don't really play 2K anymore. I do the simulations where it's just straight me vibing and commenting over it and commentating over it. And so my assumption is they just saw that. They saw that I was capable of doing live streaming stuff and holding an audience and holding attention and just having all the basics down. So when I think the first time I officially worked with them was early 2021, during the playoffs 2021, when they had a Taco Bell sponsored show and they had Channing Frye, and then they called me for it. And then after I did that and that I was successful at that, they just called me for more. And anytime they have an opportunity that's something like that, or they have something they want to try out, they'll call me for it. So yeah, that all mostly came from live streaming. I don't think if I didn't start doing Twitch, I don't think they probably would have hit me up, because in the years I had been doing YouTube now for 5 years before all that happened, and I hadn't been called for anything like that based off the YouTube video. So yeah, I just think they saw something they liked with that and took a chance. And yeah, to this day, I still do a little bit of work.
That's very interesting because, you do a lot of analysis videos, and I also want to ask you, like, behind the scenes, how hard is it to gather those clips without getting clipped from the NBA or catching, violations? Have you experienced that a lot, making your type of content?
Yeah, I tell everybody the same thing. These days, I don't know what their criteria is for who they clip and who they have problems with and who they don't, because years ago, we did have problems. I had problems with them all the way up from 2016 when I started to 2019 when I moved out on my own. So that was basically a full three straight years, or at least 2.5 years of me having copyright issues. And I think I can't credit myself with it, but I think the complaint I raised probably had a big thing to do with people not getting caught these days. Some people still do hit me up and they get copyrighted, but I noticed a lot of people don't, and they're not even signed with the NBA's network. The NBA's network is called Playmakers, and I was signed with them at that time. I basically just brought up the point, said I'm a part of y'all network and y'all are claiming my content. But then I've tried to do it properly as well and ask for permission and use the clips that y'all provide, but the clips that y'all provide are not adequate for the videos that I make. So I don't understand what's happening here. Why? And mainly, I didn't snitch anybody out, but I was just kind of going, if I'm signed to you and then I'm talking to a number of other people who don't have any content issues, I just don't understand what this partnership is, pretty much. And so we went through that whole thing. I've never been claimed ever since then. Now, to this day, there are still some people who get claimed. I have some creators that come to me and say they found ways around it. They notice certain editing styles would get claimed and certain won't. For me these days, the only claim actually that I've had in the last 4 years is if I don't know if you've seen any of the playback streams I do, but that's basically where we just watch NBA games together.
Yes.
And so if that content is still liable to be claimed, because it's literally just the NBA game and just us kind of sitting there watching it. So if I post that, one has been claimed and one hasn't. But yeah, that type of stuff normally might get claimed. The edited videos, none of those get claimed now. However, again, another creator to my right might make the same type of videos as me. I don't know what their situation is. They might get clipped. I tell everybody I don't know what they base it off of now. So I tried to handle business with them, and I did, and so I've just kind of been good ever since.
Yeah, and that's what's up. That you were able to, even though in those 3 years, end up getting to a point where, like, hey, I'm a part of your network, like, so this shouldn't be a thing, and if it is, at least tell me why this is the thing. A lot of this stuff is automated, and that was my excuse me, that was my initial frustration with YouTube. And that's why, I was like, forget this. I'm just going to live stream because I don't want to constantly deal with these copyright issues, whether it's automated or someone manually doing it. So I gave up on it. Like, I still obviously do YouTube videos like this and, want to pivot into another type of content. But that was my initial struggle. I was like, you know what? I'm just not, I don't want to play YouTube game or, the powers that be who, want to claim this content when, at the end of the day, I don't think that anybody's doing anything malicious. Like, yeah, there's those certain bad eggs, but you can't say, hey, Dom was making a NBA video and he was just going after the entire organization or after this or after a certain player or after a certain team. Like, I don't think that you had any of those motives in mind. I don't think that a lot of other people who make the, similar type of videos have those motives in mind, but we just have to unfortunately play the game. And, again, it's really going to come up to whether you want to play it or not. Because if you don't want to, then, you're liable to, again, get clipped and copyright strike and, be at the verge of losing your channel, if you want to go that far. So it sucks. But I'm glad that you were able to, at least get through that, and figure out what works, what doesn't work, or at least try to, at the best of your ability and at least talk to, certain people that, possibly, make you safe, for the future content that you were creating.
Yeah, and that's something you said there. It reminded me that's part of kind of what added to the confusion for me, because there was a NBA YouTuber. He's not around anymore, and I hope he's okay because I have no clue what's happened to him at all. But Zach Lee, he was known as Slam Dunk Comedy. He's been gone for about 3 years now. If you go look through his channel's history, he was getting into it bad with the NBA. The thing that confused me, though, is some of the videos he would make and some of the things that he would say were some of the same things that I would say. They were giving him hell, though, saying, oh, yeah, you can't have a sponsor in this video if you're going to be talking about this, or we don't want you to say this about this team. I didn't ever have that problem even one time. So you see why I tell people these days, I don't know what they choose. You were talking about manual claims. That's what really set me off years ago, is that I started seeing a lot of my stuff being manually claimed. That's where I really hit the ceiling. I said, all right, bro, it's not even just the automated thing, seeing NBA footage anymore. And I caught wind that there were people that were whitelisted and didn't get claimed. Somebody from the network had told me that at a time. So yeah, it was just a whole thing. And I'm glad I don't have to deal with anymore. But it's unfortunate that some of the community does, and some people have lost that battle, because I like I said, Slam Dunk had a great channel, and they were just all over his neck, and I've never figured out why. So
yeah, that sucks. I think that honestly, it just gets to a point where, like, you make one person mad and they're gonna be on your ass forever. Like it's really no rhyme or reason. It's just like you say one thing or do one thing that somebody doesn't like, and yeah, they'll just constantly come after you. Even if, again, you mentioned that you make similar content, as some of the other people you don't see anymore. So I think that's truly what it is. Like, it shouldn't be that way. But again, you piss one person off and then, kaput. You gotta really try to either pivot or stop making content altogether, which it sounds like the person who, you're speaking about ended up happening to them. So
you spitting facts, because outside of the NBA, there's like, I ain't gonna say a whole lot. I ain't gonna air shit out, but yeah, that is a ton of facts. I should be a lot further with some certain elements than I am, and it's very clear that I've hit nerves years ago, and that certain shit just ain't gonna happen. So all I'm gonna say is you spitting facts.
Yeah. So you mentioned Playback. So explain to the people, what is Playback, and how did you end up getting involved with this platform?
Yeah, so Playback is literally if you were able to watch NBA games on Twitch. That's literally it. It's not Twitch, but it's called Playback. And I was for years doing watch parties on Twitch with the NBA, not with the NBA, but with NBA games. So I would have a scoreboard up or something, or a video game in the background, but I would have the NBA audio playing, and they were cool with that. I talked to somebody and they were cool with that at that time. But then Playback came around, and they actually are associated. Now they have a deal with the league. And so they have the rights to broadcast their game. So you get on their platform, and it's so much more helpful, because unlike Twitch, there's a big delay. Everyone's at different points in the game. I could be a minute ahead of them or whatever. Get on Playback, everybody can see the same game at the same time. And so when I change the channel, the channel changes with them. It's literally the best way to do a watch party with your viewers. And that came about, I started actually almost a year ago now. They had been around for maybe a year or two. They weren't that big of a platform. The last year, I guess, they got more funding, and they've been able to reach out to people like me and just a lot of other creators who were interested in sports. And now it's really only the NBA. You can only watch NBA games there now. I think it used to be more. And yeah, it's just super convenient for me, because I have to watch basketball all the time anyways for my job, to make certain NBA videos, and I'm going to keep up with the league just because it's my job and because I love it regardless. So now it's just a thing where, okay, now I could do playback streams and, profit from that and watch games with people. And some of that content makes itself, it ends up going on TikTok, or it's just really, really easy to make content out of. And it don't have to just like Twitch. It don't have to just be you. So you could come to a playback anytime and jump on stage with us and watch the game. And that's literally that's the whole spiel. It's watch parties for
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah, actually, I took a look because I seen you tweeting it all the time. I was like, well, what is playback? What is playback? And so I went on there and I was like, oh, okay, so I can join, but I have to have a subscription to a certain, network or cable provider. I was like, okay, if that's the only thing that I have to, have as a barrier, then it's cool because I had YouTube TV or Charter at the time. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. So that's the only thing, people, if you're wondering, it's not that you can just hop on and watch.
Yeah.
You do have to, unfortunately, have a subscription to a cable service or a TV subscription. So that's the only caveat. But I did hop on there. I was like, okay, this is dope. I wish that Twitch would actually get on board with this similar concept. And I don't know if you did it as well, but I remember 2017, 2018, they used to do G League games on Twitch, and they actually allowed you to co-stream. And I did that for a little bit. Actually, me and TBH did that for a little bit. And I was like, yo, like it was hella players in the G League that like were in the league, that were actually in the league. And so I was like, this is actually cool to watch because it's not like I don't know anybody. So I did that for a little bit, and then Twitch ended up sending me out to the 2018 NBA All-Star game or All-Star weekend, and I ended up being like the one and only Twitch correspondent for that. And I was like, this is weird because I was hoping that they would continue, but the NBA just I felt like, again, they didn't know what to do with the product. And so, like, outside of hitting up individual creators like yourself, I wish that they would have kept up with something like that, because the one place that, again, I wanted them to get to was allowing certain creators to actually stream NBA games. And I still don't know why, that never came to fruition, but I was so hoping that they would do that, because the NFL lets you do it at least for Thursday night game. But I'm like, bro, NBA, it's there. You have 82 games. So you can at least section off. If you don't want to do all 82 games, you could at least section off like a third, a fourth, something, like a certain amount of games to be like, hey, we're doing this schedule. We're going to do this game, this game, this game. It doesn't have to be prime time. Like it could be something that would be on NBA TV or something, just for example. It doesn't have to be what's on TNT or ESPN or ABC, but section off a certain amount of games that don't get, the national spotlight, and just allow, certain creators to co-stream it. I thought that would have been genius, but again, they never got there. It's 2023. So again, that's 5 years later and they still did nothing. I'm like, bro, please. NBA, like y'all are tripping. And then it was either last year or the year before. I think that they started experimenting with the playoffs, but they only did it in South America. And I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
I understand that you're trying to expand your market, but bro, you have diehard NBA fans and content creators over here who are on Twitch. Please just do it. Like NBA, I don't know why this is so difficult for them to do. It must be some other things in the background. I don't know if you know. Again, don't expose the secrets on here, but I really wish that they would have, just went that route, because I'm like, bro, the G League was cool. I understand that not everybody got into it, but that should have shown you that, like, hey, there are some people who are interested in it, and some people who can, articulate themselves well and keep people entertained. Because we did, like, I felt like it was dope. Like everybody was like, oh man, we were making up names for people who we didn't know. We were like, I think it was cool. So it's unfortunate that they still haven't gotten there, but I'm still holding on to hope that maybe they can. But if they don't, then Playback is going to continue to prosper. Then I guess in that case.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. After the 2021 season, because I had very successful watch parties on Twitch, and I asked them that next season, basically, where were they at with making a deal with Twitch so we could have the games there. And it's been a while since we had that conversation. I can't even remember what they said. I do know that there's some type of red tape there, or there was anyways, because now it appears to me Twitch has kind of missed the punch with it. Whatever it was that was messing it up, NBA is directly invested in Playback. So I don't really know if there will be a thing where they also now try to share that with Twitch, because to me, if Twitch had that ability, then Playback would get like canned instantly. Twitch is already a much bigger platform. People like me were doing Twitch and kind of came to Playback. Obviously, my bigger audience is on Twitch. It'd be way more convenient. Now that Playback exists and is growing and is proven, it was growing crazy during the season, during the playoffs and whatnot. They were sending us the stats for it. Yeah, I don't know. Twitch may have missed the punch with that, and that's extremely unfortunate because that's where 90% of us, 95% of us have already built our streaming audience, and it does kind of seem like it's split. Yeah, basically everything you said. It was 100% there. But Playback is awesome. Playback is awesome, and it works. And people are participating. It's always hard to get people to click on links, but Playback has been one of the second or third most successful thing I've been able to funnel people to, and they come through consistently, and it's your own community there. So, and like you said, yeah, you do need League Pass to watch these games. It's not free lunch. You don't get to come in there and watch the games for free. League Pass, or if you're watching it on ESPN, you have to have some type of subscription for that. That's the only catch. It's great though.
Yeah. No, that's what's up though. That's what's up. I mean, I'm glad that again there is a service out there that still allows you to do watch parties in 1-to-1 real time. Like you said, if you're doing it on Twitch, even though there is that low latency, there's still a delay regardless. So it is unfortunate, but yeah, I think you're right on that. Twitch ended up dropping the ball. Like I said, I wish I was a fly on the wall in these meetings between the NBA and Twitch, because like I said, I don't know like who pissed who off, or you know what money was being asked on one side compared to the other side. I don't know if TNT, ESPN, you know, got involved. Who knows? But it sucks. It sucks. You know, the only thing that they truly have is really NBA 2K League, and that was, I feel like NBA 2K League did good in its inception as far as numbers, but now it's really only at a point where unless you're directly involved in 2K, like the actual video game, or if you're, you know, in the league, you're not really watching it because it doesn't really concern you. So, and then I also heard that the NBA players can't directly get involved with that league too, which is also stupid. Like, cause I'm like,
this season they can. Coming up, it's fine. Now they can. Yeah,
I'm glad. Yeah, it took a long time, but I'm like, bro, like if this team is an affiliate of the NBA team, and I said it to D-Man too, I'm like, if this team is an affiliate, bro, like there's no way that you can't say like, all right, I'm a team that's directly affiliated with the Mavs, and Luka can't come through. Like, come on, bro. Or Kyrie can't come through. Get out of here, bro. Like, do something. Do some collab. So I'm glad that they finally came to their senses on that. And hopefully it does end up boosting the numbers on 2K League. Because like I said, it's there. And they're investing money into it. Like, it's your product. It's not like it's a sub product or a third party product. It's your product. So, you know, just get that going. So I'm hoping that can, you know, end up prospering. But I feel like that's all that Twitch is kind of doing now. They're just worried about 2K League, but I'm hoping that again that one day they can, you know, make a deal and at least allow, you know, creators like yourself to actually, you know, stream the games or co-stream, but do something, you know, just a one-off situation if that could work. All right, let's get off of basketball. What else does Dom like in terms of sports? What else are you into?
Could you repeat that again? Yeah.
Sorry. So what other sports are you into besides basketball?
That's the only sport that I really follow like that. Every year at the beginning around this time, I'll dabble a little bit into football. I've never gotten into legitimately following it though, so that wouldn't count. It's really just basketball for me. When the Super Bowl happens, I'm gonna pop in, or when it gets close to the Super Bowl, I'm gonna pop in and pay a little bit of attention. That's really the only other sport that I even pay a little bit of attention to. I've never been into baseball, hockey, none of that. Not even, I watch college basketball a little bit. It's NBA takes up all my time though. I should get into NFL at some point. It's a running joke now with my community that I'm gonna watch NFL every year. Yeah, it's just basketball though.
I thought you were doing fantasy football. So
yeah,
that's interesting that you joined that, but you don't really watch the NFL. So how did that even come about? Somebody bet you that you want to go do it, or you just want to dabble into it?
Yeah, it was actually Halliburton's league, actually, Tyrese Halliburton. So he's been running, or he was running a fantasy football league every year. So I think we did it in 2020. So we did 2 or 3 years. So from the time he got drafted. And yeah, he just asked me to be in it and a bunch of other people to be in it. So I said, all right, fuck it, whatever. I hopped in, and I'm glad that I didn't get asked this year. He didn't do it this year because I never knew what was going on. I lost twice, I believe. I never really knew what was going on with it. I didn't really keep up with it. And but those leagues did have bets that we were supposed to do. So to encourage people to actually pay attention and play, it's supposed to be bets that we were supposed to have to do. and they just never set it up either. So we still laugh about that because he said he didn't do it this year because the bets never happened. And I was like, well, nobody ever set them up because everybody voted on what we were supposed to do, and then it never happened. Yeah, that's all it was though. It was just a bunch of us friends that got together and it did that for a couple of years.
Okay. Yeah, a little worried about that. I was like, this dude don't really watch football like that. But I was like, this was so random. He's in a fantasy football league. So, okay, that makes sense. The basketball player ended up, inviting you. So, okay. All right. So, outside of NBA, outside of video game, mainly 2K, what else does Dom like to do? What are Dom's hobbies?
Yeah, outside of basically everything that I do for work, I still play a ton of different video games that have nothing to do with the NBA, obviously. So that's been a whole thing throughout my life. Work out a bunch. I don't draw as much as I used to. That was definitely a thing that I had growing up. Play chess still sometimes. That's a little bit of a hobby of mine. But anytime I find somebody who plays that, that's something. Read a little bit. Yeah, when time permits. Yeah, just that type of stuff. I like to go out a lot too, just different places and travel a ton. I don't know how I'm forgetting that and everything that I'm listing. Like that's what I spent this whole summer doing was going to different places. I feel like I've been discovering new parts of the map pretty much every time I go somewhere. So yeah, I've got friends in different places, so I like to travel a ton. I like to get out a ton, which is obviously becomes interesting once the NBA season starts because I kind of always need to be in one place when this is going on. But yeah, I at the top of that list, I do like to travel and fly a bunch.
Okay, you going out of country?
I have been a couple of times. I've been to Costa Rica at the end of college. I have been to Amsterdam last year. That was actually related to streaming and the Tommy Hilfiger stuff that was going on. Those are the two places I've been out of country so far. I'm not exactly sure where I want to go out yet. I still want to go back to Costa Rica. That's on the top. And then I'll have to see where else I want to go, specifically outside of the country. But that's where I've been for now.
Gotcha. Outside of the NBA, what have been one of your like favorite brand deals that you've done in your career so far?
Yeah, it would have to be what the work that we were doing with Tommy Hilfiger because that was the probably most comprehensive thing, I would say. It wasn't just a one-off and advertisement and a video. They actually sent me clothes for did that actually last a year? I think that was a full year. That went so fast. Yeah, a full year where they would send, I think, 4 outfits a month for you to wear on stream pretty much. And I got to meet the rest of the team a couple of times and we got to travel a couple of places. And we even went and did a photo shoot in Amsterdam. That's what that was. And so yeah, that one was really cool. That was solely because I streamed on Twitch and got that opportunity. So that would be my favorite so far.
That's what's up. Yeah, that was another one. I was like, yo, Dom, okay, it was Tommy Hilfiger. I was like, it seemed random at the time. But again, like with your live streaming, you never know who's going to notice you and who's going to hit you up. So that's super dope that, you going to another platform and doing, different types of content ended up getting you in touch with Tommy Hilfiger and doing stuff like that. So that's super dope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you literally never know with live streaming, like you said. Especially at this time, at the end of the year, you get to the October, November, December month when I guess brands are really looking to spend money. You just never know what's going to pop up in your email and who's going to want to end up working with you. So yeah, that was random at the time. I didn't even really know if it was real because I get a lot of emails that look fake and that want to work with your channel and whatnot. So yeah, when I got that one, I said, okay, I'll bite. And it ended up being a real thing. So they definitely could have done more with it. There was a lot more potential, but it was their first venture and putting a team like that together. And it was fun for what it was. I'm glad we did it.
I do appreciate the brands that, again, wouldn't normally do that type of content. They're typically, they say to themselves like, hey, I'm just going to go after the models or whatever. But if you've seen the potential in, platforms like Twitch and different types of creators that, again, wouldn't normally do the type of content that you're doing and seeing a success in it, like, take the chance. I like when, again, brands and the marketing teams, see the potential in other platforms and other types of creators to do that type of stuff. Because again, it's being fruitful for both parties, not just one one-sided relationship. So that's what's up.
Yeah,
all right. Final question for you: what does Dom see himself as the end goal? What is the end goal for Dom? Do you want to do YouTube videos, analysis videos, and live streams forever?
I often think about just how it's already been. I think this summer was 7 years that I've been involved with internet work in one way or the other, YouTube channels and Twitch, and all the connections that I've been able to make. I've networked with some really cool people, most importantly, but obviously people that can help you and that are in important places. And I don't fully know where the potential is, because on one hand you do say, first of all, I think that was one of the reasons I started streaming in the first place. Was I immediately after year 1 or 2 of all the copyright claims and stuff said, I don't want my fate to be tied to my YouTube video views. I don't want that, because that can go away at any time. Views get lower, never know what YouTube is going to trip about next. So that was kind of the part of me wanting to expand out and be able to network with people and do other things and get opportunities like I've gotten with the NBA. But also, as I continue to get more opportunities, who knows how high that'll go. I expect to do some different things this year with the league. Who knows where that'll really end up. I'm still kind of wondering, where is the end for what I do and for what a lot of people do in the NBA community on YouTube? Because at this point, you look at, say, I'm 7 years in, my channel technically today is at one of its strongest points in terms of performance, where a lot of channels after that amount of time might see a dip or might not be as strong or might not even be growing anymore. And because the NBA always has something new going on every single season, or it always has new things that are going to captivate an audience, I really do wonder, like, okay, well, in 10 years, even if I'm doing something else, will I still be also making Dom 2K videos? Will I also still be streaming? Because I work with basketball and because I work with the league, there's always new stuff for me to come up with. There's always new stuff for me to go off of. It's not just like me trying to do the same video idea that I've done for 7 or 8 years. You know what I mean? So I do want to keep just getting more opportunities like I've gotten. Just keep working like that. But I do also say, hey, you know what? It might be 10 years that pass and I might be a lot bigger than I am now. And I might have more connections. I might be doing even different types of work with the league. But I also still might be streaming and working, doing videos on top of that, because it hasn't stopped yet. So, and I would have, if you would ask me in 2016, what would I even be making videos in 2023 going on to 2024? I really wouldn't have known. But it's as strong as ever. So that might be a component of it. But obviously, just to wrap it all up, the less dependent I can be on a YouTube channel performance or a live stream view counter, the better. So the more official type of work I can get, the better. You just never know. YouTube could start tripping about something in 2 months that we didn't even know was going to be a problem. that could really put a dent in that. Or Twitch could change something. You literally never know. So the farther away I can get from having to base it off of that, the better. And so far it's went in that direction. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
That's what's up. I think you're in a very unique spot with your type of content, because literally year after year, there's a new prospect coming in who, who's getting that immense hype. This year is Wemby, without question. He's been getting hype for a few years now, not just even, this year, but he's been getting immense hype. I actually just watched your video on Wemby as well and watched your analysis on his preseason. So obviously, all eyes are going to be on him this season. And you already have those connections with the NBA and you have those connections with players. So you could, potentially collab with, those particular players, do a podcast, get a network going, like whatever you see fit. That's not just NBA analysis video. That's not just NBA 2K sim live stream. So again, you have a unique opportunity because of the type of content that you do, that is always fresh. The worst that can happen is the NBA literally just dismantles, which I don't see happening because it's a lot of money in the NBA. Exactly. But the NBA has such a long legacy that, again, like you mentioned, your YouTube channel and certain videos that people can go back to. We're talking about a decade down the line, just because, the algorithm may cater to you, or, someone doing a search on LeBron, someone doing a search on Wemby, like whatever that you're talking about at the time, they can go and be like, yo, like this was a perfect analysis by Dom, it was a perfect analysis by so-and-so. So I think, you have that opportunity and that blessing that even if you decide to fully pivot away from YouTube, those videos that you've done in previous years can still live on while you're, attacking a new venture, something else that you want to do. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to think that much about it. You could continue still doing what you do, but again, once you decide to stop worrying about the view count, for your your day to day and your finances and we're even worried about live streaming and entertaining someone, on a day to day live, compared to making a YouTube video and just letting it sit and not just doing whatever you want. Then you'll end up being in I wouldn't say a better place, but I think you'll be in a more peaceful place. Not have to worry about both of those elements. So
yeah, exactly. That's basically been my work over the last few years, which is one of the reasons why I say I'm thankful that I'll be hitting 400K on that channel in probably another couple of days. But reality is I could have been past 400K a really long time ago. It was just that I saw basically what you were talking about. I said there's other opportunities. So when the 2K League called me, I go and I work with them, and I have a bunch of connections with people who do a lot of important things and have brought me stuff and brought me brand deals that don't have anything to do with the 2K League. And I've met people through that. And so I think that's the super important and underrated part of if you get to be a content creator is the networking that can happen. And so 5-10 years down the line, you may have an opportunity you never saw coming because of that. And I think that's kind of on the track that I've been on. And that's why I took the last 3 years to focus more on live streaming. And now I'm back. I'm like, okay, yeah, YouTube is kind of popping right now. So I'll make some more videos. And, it literally just depends year to year. But I think there will be a lot of things that I do that aren't related to YouTube or Twitch, honestly, going forward. I love doing it, though. I always say if I hit the lottery tomorrow, I would still watch basketball with my community a lot. I'd still probably make some NBA videos because I like it that much, So it's a thing that even if it isn't really paying anymore at a certain point, I want to see how long I can make that channel last, to be honest. I think it'd be cool to look back in 10 years and still be doing some of that. But no, I don't want to be dependent on analysis videos for 20 or 30 years of my life, which I'm not dependent on it now. So that's kind of the track that I've been heading on.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, you definitely taking the opportunities as you got them. And again, now you're at a point where you don't have to fully rely on it. So this was a very good conversation. I loved hearing your perspective, your rise, your come up, and the pivots that you've done from just making 2K videos through clips to making analysis videos to all right, I'm going to live stream on YouTube, do watch parties, do 2K sims to now I'm on Playback, working with the 2K League. I'm traveling, I'm doing whatever I need to do. I'm meeting NBA players. I'm doing content with them. Like you're doing a lot of things. And out of the NBA content creators that I know personally, I feel like you're doing it the right way. You're not just sticking in one or two boxes. You're, taking opportunities as you get them, and you're doing the networking that you need to do. And again, just making those opportunities, to the best of your ability. So I'm super proud of you. And like I said, I'm always looking up to what you're doing. And I'm super happy that, we were able to get together tonight and, make this content. And even before, when I got on the Twitch show with you and just constantly watching your journey, I'm hoping that this season we don't butt heads again. It seemed like the Celtics and the Heat are there, and we're going to continue to be there. And it's going to be up with us. But I hated the situation that happened with us in the offseason, and the fact that y'all got Drew Holiday for free. I'm not a fan of that, but it is what it is. We're gonna see what happens. And I'm praying on your downfall, but like I said, I love Jason Tatum because he's from the town. He's from St. Louis, so I'm gonna root for him. But everybody else, man, just spoke for. we gonna try to make it happen, bro. We gonna try to make it happen. But
sure, we made off like bandits this summer. I am very pleased with the offseason the Celtics had. But it should be interesting. Celtics and Heat play in within a week or not. So, hey, man, I'll hit you up and see if you want to come to the Playback for that one. As a matter of fact, if you have time for that, you can go on stage. Right?
Yeah. Hit me up before I'm gone. Cause like in November, I'm out of here. November, I'm out of here. I'm gonna have to, take a little break. I'm actually taking a break from work.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll be taking a break for work. So, so next week, I'm gonna try to make the most out of opportunities when the season starts. Real quick. I know that's my last question, but obviously as a Celtics fan, you're gonna, want the Celtics to win. But honest early predictions, who are you seeing in the NBA Finals?
The NBA Finals, well, first of all, out of the East, just dead ass, I really think it's going to be either the Bucks or Celtics coming out of that conference. I kind of think they are the two contenders there. But we'll see if Miami throws some black magic on whoever they've picked up and have them shooting 70% in the playoffs and somehow they end up there again. I do think it will be the Bucks or the Celtics representing the East. Man, in the West, bro, like I couldn't tell you because it is crazy there from what the Suns are doing. I'm wondering how much the loss for the Nuggets is going to hurt with Bruce Brown, who fills that role. Because repeating, even getting back to the finals twice in the West right now is just a really, really hard thing to do. Yeah, I almost don't even have a guess in the West. I guess I would say between the Nuggets and Suns, and out of that, I would maybe lean Denver with a healthy Jokic and Jamal Murray. I really like what they have, so yeah, just a way too early prediction without putting too much thought into it. Nuggets and Bucks or Nuggets and Celtics would be my finals prediction.
Okay. It's very interesting now. The Nuggets, we always felt like there were one player away from making it, and Jamal Murray ended up being that player since now he's healthy. So it was actually, pretty crazy how they ended up, finally getting there and ultimately winning it all. But now we're going to see that shift. Now that people are going to be like, all right, now fully, I'm going to fully invest in the Nuggets to win something, because the Warriors just had a chokehold on the West for so long, and before then it was the Lakers. So it was literally just those two teams, and then throw in the Spurs here and there before their downfall. But because pop is pop. But now, like, we're going to see what Wemby does, and maybe the Spurs can come back to the heyday of them winning it all. So it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, the West is super hard to predict. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not gonna say the Nuggets. Excuse me. I'm not gonna say the Nuggets because I'm still not fully invested in them. Still not fully invested in them, even though they won. I know what their potential is, but again, there's just too many injuries that I'm predicting will happen. But if they can stay healthy, I mean, they're always gonna be in there. So who knows? We're going to see what happens with this Steph and Chris Paul dynamic and no Jordan Poole. So I don't know if the Warriors are going to be able to make some noise, Splash Brothers, or are they still the Splash Brothers or not? We're going to see what happens with that. And then, of course, the Suns, like you mentioned, we're going to see what ends up happening with them. Now they got Bradley Beal, who's going to be the point guard this season. I mean, he can be the point guard because he didn't have John Wall for, those random seasons when he was hurt. So that's just going to be crazy.
Yeah,
the West, the West is ridiculous.
Yeah,
the West is ridiculous,
completely.
Man.
Yeah, the West is literally who stays healthy and who builds the most chemistry first. They got to just beat each other to the punch because there's limited spots and a lot of teams that can fill those spots out there. So if a team has to spend the whole year playing catch up, trying to get everyone on the floor together, that's not the team that I would bet on. It's not like the East where you can beat my last year's Heat, who were mid the entire season, and then put it together at the last minute and make a run through it. I don't think you can do that in the Western Conference this year specifically. I'll let you do that.
No, I agree. And like I said, we weren't supposed to be there because when the Heat lost to the Hawks, I was like, all right, bro, like just go ahead and call it. I was like, just go ahead and call it, bro, because we shouldn't have been in the play-ins anyways. I was like, no, if we in the play-ins, just go ahead and cut it off. But then we lost to the Hawks. I was like, all right, bro, like just be done with it. Let's come back next season. And then we end up beating the Bulls and then beating the Bucks. I was like, all right, like once we beat the Bucks, I was like, all right, something is happening. I know that Giannis was hurt, but I was like, no, even when we came back, we spanked them. So I was like, all right, we're gonna make something happen. And then met y'all again, and yeah, somehow ended up besting y'all in 7. That was probably, as a Heat fan or as a fan period, probably one of the most nerve-wracking playoff series in my entire life. That shit was ridiculous. And I remember I was away too, and seeing all that unfold. I was like, nah, bro, like there's no way they're gonna be able to come back. And sure enough, y'all did end up being down to the line, and we ended up besting y'all last season, getting their revenge. But oof, I don't even want to think about it. We're just gonna see what happens because like I said, it's gonna be a roller coaster. But Dom, I appreciate you so much for coming through, giving me the time. And I always forget that you're in Orlando. I need to make a better effort to like meet up with the content creators in Orlando and see what's up. So I'm gonna be hitting you up, seeing what your schedule is looking like. Obviously, I know that you're going to be fully invested in the season as it's starting up, and I'm about to have my kids soon. But I'm gonna try to, make an effort to meet up with you and just chop it up with you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hit me anytime, and I appreciate you having me on again. You can have me on. Hit me up. I will make time to be on. Always like supporting your show, supporting whatever y'all are doing for all these years, and yeah, it's pretty cool to see y'all growth as well. So much appreciated.
Thank you. With that being said, this was the latest episode of the Hardest Thing podcast. I will try to be back, but no promises because, like I said, it's about to be absolutely crazy. But like I said, I want to try to keep up the consistency as much as I can. But just bear with me. I got some content for y'all now. So, with that being said, I will see you all next time. Peace.